Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 380. Back to basics we are today. What an interesting time. What we wanted to sort of do today is just, there's a lot of different things coming up. And so one of the things we wanted to showcase was a quick show back to, doing LP pools. That's something that, really sort of uh, pushes the envelope for a lot of people. There's a lot of misconceptions about impermanent loss, what that means, what fees look like, trading back and forth. And so we wanted to just showcase an LP pool we made a while ago in USDC and USDT. The reason why we wanted to showcase this is because we wanted to show what impermanent loss looks like, what fees look like in a V3, and the difference between a V3 liquidity pool and a V2 liquidity pool. Real quickly off the top, the difference between a V2 and a V3 is with a V2, you're putting in a prefixed ratio base. You don't get to choose the price range. And the fees that you get from each trade are automatically put back and compounded into that pool. And you don't actually get to see those fees until you pull out your entire amount. Now with the V3, those fees are collected on the side and you're able to pull them whenever you want without touching your initial liquidity. And you can do two things. One, you can have those fees, you can sell them off, you can get into other liquidity pools because sometimes some liquidity pools are incentivized with other tokens. At other times, liquidity pools are, just the two tokens that are involved. So if you're in something like USDC and USDT, you collect fees of USDC and USDT, and you only collect those fees for that pool that you're part of. The other thing with a V3 position is it is represented by an NFT, a non-fungible token. And the why is that is the position that you hold in that pool. So not only do you have a liquid position in a liquid pool, you have a liquid position of your position that you're able to then sell or trade or send to a different wallet so that you're able to hold on to that for the long term. Now, once you do send that, you will still have that as a created token within like your OpenSea page. You'll see it as a created, but it won't be in your wallet anymore because you have transferred it. It will still show up as a pool, closed pool in your Uniswap setup, and then but your new wallet that you send that to, whether it's yours or someone else's, is what controls that position. So real quickly, we're going to show you today what Uniswap looks like, and we're going to, boom, we sent out a notification real quick. And before we do that, we just want to do a quick shout out to all of our friends and family on Unlonely app, to those that are in Xenon, huge shout out to all of you. And then to those that are on LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, both YouTube channels, as well as Telegram and Discord. We ask that you do the comment, comment, and subscribe. Turn those notifications on for our daily Taco Bites. We just hit episode 380, so we've been going for a little bit, and that's sort of why we felt it, here. We do want to shout out to Doug. We see you on Xenon. And so we are going to be showcasing our screen real quick so we can showcase what it looks like going through an LP position. And we will see what that looks like right now. I think one of the things that we do have to remember, I think we started it up with maybe, I think only a handful of dollars. I think we started it with like $3 on each side. And so what we want to show with this is the fact that when you get into a position and it's traded against, you don't always keep the same size position. And that's where impermanent loss comes from. You might have one side of one token. So token A and token B, if token A becomes really hot and people are FOMOing it and wanting to buy it, well, you're going to have less of it and you're going to have more of token B. Now, if token B becomes the hot topic or people are selling off their token A, you'll have more token A and less of B. So that's where your two pairings come from. One of the things that you'll see is what's called impermanent loss, is that total value might drop, especially if you're doing an exotic pairing, like a meme coin and ETH or USDT, which is considered a stable pairing because there's a stable dollar involved. Now, the reason you'll have impermanent loss is because token values might change. And so your different token amounts might change, but the total value may go up or may go down depending on what's being done in that pool. The reason I want to showcase USDC and USDT is because people trade between USDC and USDT all the time. And what we get to see within that is we get to see if there's more USDC on one side, we know that people are trading to USDT, or if they are trading for USDC with USDT, then there should be more USDT because people are buying the USDC. And so it's a really interesting way to sort of see what that looks like. And it is right here. So as you can see right now, originally we started with $6, $3 of USDT and $3 of USDC. Now we're currently at $6.38. Why? Well, because one of the things that we do is every time we've been claiming our USDT and USDC, we've been compounding it back into our pool. Now, what that does is that gives us a larger position within that pool. And by having a larger percentage of that pool, we get more fees. And so as you can see, there is a window price range of 99.76 cents to $1.0016. That would be 16 thousandths of a penny with a dollar on that. So there's a little range of window for trading. We could actually set that window to be a little bit larger, but we get less trading fees. The narrower, more true to that price range, gets us higher percentage of fees. And as you can see, where that current price is that's $1, 3 zeros, and a 2. So we're within that range. And as long as we're within range, that means two things. That means that we are going to be getting our collecting fees, and we'll still have both sides of that token. So if we were to go max price, we were to go over USDT per USDC, we would actually have that go when it goes, people are wanting USDT, and so they will buy USDT and sell their USDC for it. So as you can see here in this pool, people have been selling their USDT. So we have actually more USDT and they've been buying USDC. So we have less USDC overall. And so we're going to collect this. With Uniswap makes it really easy to sort of navigate. They do leave out, the steps that you should go through, but they have some really good documents through that. We're going to show you real quick. We're going to set up something real quick. So just give us a quick moment. Let's see here. So we're going to approve this. It's going to cost us a cent to collect a cent, but we're actually getting, USDC and USDT. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compound that back in once that comes. Let's see here. Confirm. All right. So we're gonna have to try to do. Let's see, USDC market. And then I think we should have. Then we can withdraw. Oh. Boom. And so we are doing a quick poll. So while we get that poll, we're going to give you just a little bit more history on some of the things. And one of the things we do want to give out today that I'm going to send to myself is, if you guys haven't gotten into Friend Tech yet, we do have some new Friend Tech codes. So we are going to put those out at the end. And so just as always, that is a first come, first serve, unfortunately. We can't set that aside for people. Let's see here. There we go. All right. So we're going to be waiting for that to come. And while we wait for that to come, we want to show you a couple other positions that we have and why we have them, just so you can sort of see what those look like. And real quick, we're going to increase our, we'll increase that. You can see here what our max is, 49 cents USDC and 0.0069 cents. And so if we were to do a max of 1, they currently have a ratio base set. And so now you can see that we have a max of $29 worth of USDC. And so if we were to do that, we would need $54 of USDT. So before we do that, we're going to go do a couple things real quick. We're going to get our USDC up. We're going to switch 9. Let's see here. Max. We're going to swap $9 to USDC to Matic, just because we like to have a little gas on hand. What gas, always allows for is transacting on chain. And it's sort of one of those things that sort of sucks when you're trying to transact on chain and not able to do that. And so as you can see, we're enabling USDC spending on Uniswap, and that is pending. And now we allowed USDC to be used for swapping. So we sign that transaction, and then we confirm our swap. So that's a 3-step process. One is the approval for a certain amount. I like to set the approval to max amount that I'm doing for that trade. Sometimes the default is a very large number, just because they don't want it to keep coming back to you and asking for your permission for a certain amount. But what that also does is it gives them access to more than what you're trying to trade right then and there. So if you're doing a large transaction, you can always go over to revoke cash. And we'll do that maybe tomorrow night and show what revoking signatures and permissions looks like. And why you might want to do that. But what it does is it gives the protocol access to your funds for a transaction. And so as you can see, we've done that. We've made our trade. Now our next trade that we're going to do is USDC to USDT. We're going to split that in half. So you can see we have 20. So we're going to make that 10 and swap that. So we're going to have 10 and 10 on both sides. And that swap is submitted. And now just remember, we're not going to be doing both 10 on 10 on both sides, because that pool is already ratioed. We can't actually make a new ratio for that. And so we'll just do a max piece of what we can. And as you can see with USDC, we would need $18 of USDT. So we'll do a max USDT of $10, and that adds $5.40. And we need to approve both. And as you can see, we have our Fire wallet extension showcasing us what we're trying to do. And it says infinite, but we changed this, as you can see, to a cap of what we're only trying to do in this transaction. Now, Once that's approved, it will then work to click on the deposit feature, and we'll see this go through. So we're going to be adding a total of roughly $15.40, and that will cost us 1 cent. So our total to both, and we'll close that position. So now you can see we now have $21.79. So that brings us $14 on one side and $7 on USDC side. So that means that people at the current ratio, they're trading more towards USDC and selling their USDT. Having a larger position allows for a little bit more of that unclaimed fee side of things. So really sort of pushes forward with being able to have a bigger piece of the pie. Now you'll see some pools, some people own, 2 to 3%, and so they're getting roughly on Uniswap, I think it is 0.25% of every trade. So they're getting, if they own 1% of the pool, they're getting 1% of 0.25% of every trade. So 0.25%, over $1 billion. And so one of the biggest pools that you see is usually, depending on the chain, the gas token and a stable like USDC or USDT, as well as ETH and a stable. Those are some of the biggest pools that we see. But it's really hard for some people to see that impermanent loss because the price changes so different. One of the things that people can do, and we're going to just showcase you what that looks like real quick. We'll do Matic, and let's see here. Boop. I don't think we shouldn't have. Let's see here. So we're going to do, we have $4.60. So we're going to just refresh this real quick so it can catch up to how much USDC we actually have. And then what we're going to do here is we're picking, since this is a stable pair, we see that this is where a lot of people have. And so the price range right now is 54 to 5. We're actually going to increase and lower that because we think, that Matic might go down a little bit. So we want to give ourselves a little bit of a window here so we continue to collect fees through that. And one of the things down here that you can actually see is what that price window looks like. We can actually make that window a little bit smaller so you can see what it looks like on a grander scale. We're going to bring that down one more time because we're going to put this right about here at 51. Right, we want it at 5%. We're going to bring it, hopefully, slowly moving. There we go. Right there at 5%. And we're going to bring this up just a little bit up to 56 because we know that there's going to be some volatility with Matic over the next couple of days. Just the way the entire markets are moving right now as people rearrange for the SEC's possible appeal against the DC appellate court in favoring Grayscale and their Bitcoin ETF or ETP. And it's actually not approving the ETP. It's just saying that the reasons that the SEC used to deny were not valid. And because they gave licenses to other companies offering similar products, they need to apply the same logic to this other product that Grayscale is offering. So as you can see with our current price range of roughly 55 to 51, so we're actually going to go a little bit higher. We're going to go 5% higher as well. There we go. There we go, 56. So we're going to go into a 5% range up and down. And we're going to go with a max of $4.59. And that gives an 8-matic for that ratio piece there. And so it's really simple by doing something back and forth like this. We're putting roughly $4.35 in and $4.60 worth of USDC. And so that gives us a total of roughly $8.95, right under $9 total. And so now that gives us a new position, a new NFT for that. And we'll see that showcased in our pool. Right here is Matic USDC. So as people trade from USDC to Matic or Matic to USDC, we'll get a small piece of that pie for every single one of them. One of the things that we see here is both the Matic and Phoenix. And so as we're starting to see, there's a whole lot less people are trading on that. And so we're actually going to remove this position as it's staying within. We're not getting a lot of fees on that, and that's because we have such a huge range. And so we can actually 26,655. We can actually make a new position, which makes that's 26,000 Phoenix per Matic. And so we're going to actually remove liquidity there. And we'll get both our fees and our initial liquidity as well. And that will close that position. And that's how easy it can be to close a position as well. Back to pools, and that will drop down in a second. One of the things that we also wanted to look at was our Phoenix and Zen. Same thing. As we're seeing people trade, we have a wide range. So that's not actually giving us any benefits from keeping that open. And by having such a wide range, we're not actually getting the direct price action. We're hoping, that price windows will go up or they'll go down. And that's one of the things that you have to be aware of. So if you have a larger price window, depending on what you think the price of an item is going to be for, you won't get that big of the price action, especially if it is in a specific location or price range. So we see that sort of move back as well. And then we do DXN, MZen, and so we see the same exact thing as we did Infinity open pool pieces on that. We're going to remove our liquidity there and bring all of those tokens back to our wallet, and we'll look at resetting new liquidity positions at a different time. So that is what that's what we covered tonight. I just wanted to just do a quick overview again of what liquidity pools look like. Now, if you're looking for what a V2 position, you can always go from over here into pools all the way down to the bottom. Oh, let's see here. Where is we have to wait for, let's go over here. We'll go over to ETH. And here on more, we'll see our V2 liquidity. And this is where we can provide liquidity, put liquidity in, import or add V2. Now, the difference between V2 and V3, like I said, is that liquid position, that NFT that allows you to choose the price range of what you want to trade in, as well as what you think the fees that you'll collect for that. And so some pools in some sites have aggressive incentives, and you'll see that. You see that on Stella Swap, my DEX. We do that where we incentivize people to put into certain liquidity pools, because we want to make the deeper liquidity, the more stable the price, because there's a lot of trade action happening on that. And so we really want to make it desirable for people to come to our DEX to trade. So the deeper the liquidity, the more stable the price, and the easier people will get more for their money. And the reason, if I just to make a simple example, this is, let's say there's a token that is $1 and you want to buy $10 worth of it. Well, you would think naturally that you buy 10 for $10, you would get 10. But each token that you buy slightly increases the price of the following tokens by sometimes such a small percentage. But when you get into larger scale, that's when you'll actually see that. So you might not actually get 10 tokens that are selling for $1. You would get like 9.5, 9.6666, or something along those lines as the price slightly increases, because you're taking more tokens off the table and putting more cash into the pool, stating that there's more value for those tokens. And that's the same thing with selling a token as with buying a token. So when you sell a token, you think you have 10 tokens that are $1 a piece, that you'll get back $10. But as you give those tokens back into the pool and take money out of it, it makes those tokens worth a little less. And so you won't necessarily get $10 when you sell 10 tokens that are going for $1 a piece. You'll get about 9.89999 worth, something along those lines. Obviously, I'm trying to just give basic small numbers to sort of showcase what that looks like. But when we're talking in the hundreds or thousands, you can see a big price difference. But the more liquidity, the more tokens, the more cash on both sides that there is of a pair, that gives it a more stable price so that people can pull out more if they have more, without really affecting the price at all. And that's what one of the things that the SEC was saying against Grayscale was that there was not enough securities in place to prevent market manipulation, with Grayscale only owning about 3.4% the total Bitcoin supply. 3.4% sounds small, but that does still give them over, I think, 40,000 Bitcoin over roughly $30 billion. So go Grayscale. But what they want to do is they want to get those off OTC, where they're having to sell them as a discount, and get them onto the market to where investors, not just credited investors, can buy them, trade them at the price that they are, so that Grayscale can get better price action on that arbitrage for that. So I think that will help stabilize the price of Bitcoin a lot. I am afraid that we might lose some liquidity within the Bitcoin market, because people are like, well, why hold on to Bitcoin when I can hold on to a Bitcoin futures or spot contract as well? And so, or at the opposite end, people will hold Bitcoin spot or Bitcoin ETF long enough that they'll be like, this stuff's amazing. I want to get into Bitcoin myself. How do I do that? And they will literally Google, how do I buy Bitcoin, into Google. And Google will tell them, thank you, Google. There's been enough great papers and instructions written out there that people will be able to learn how to safely buy Bitcoin. Don't trust every link you find on that as well. And so my number one source that I suggest people to go to if they want to buy Bitcoin is either an exchange like MEXC, or a more centralized exchange like Coinbase, where it gives them a little bit more protection, a little bit more authority to help fix that out. So that's one of those really cool things that we will see moving forward. And we really hope that you learned something tonight as we went over L2s and L3 liquidity pools, or V2 and V3 liquidity pools. That's it for tonight. And as always, we end every episode with the same two things: our words of wisdom and the best, worst knock-knock joke on the face of the planet. And as always, we're going to go with our words of wisdom, which is: a closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth. We also want to say goodnight to Liam and hope that you're having a great time. And then we get to end with the greatest, worst knock-knock joke on the face of the planet. We want to shout out to everyone that's joined us tonight. We see you. Doug, thank you for joining us on Xenon. Huge shout out to everyone over on Lonely. And at the same time, want to shout out to everyone that's joining us from YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn. And yeah, so as always, we end with the greatest, worst knock-knock joke on the face of the planet. And that is knock knock. Who's there?